in 경기장 도시형.
All right, guys, game one between Alternate Attack and Acer, and we are going to start off with our Alternate Attack player, very popular player from Europe. In the yellow, it is Socke. And on the left side of the map, also in the upper part of it, we have our red Protoss player from the team Acer. It is going to be Elfi.
Okay, so here we have it, folks. PvP, which is kind of unusual for these two teams, if you think about it. Their lineups, Acer, it was a running joke for a while that they used to be Team Zerg because they had Paranoid and Archeo, etc., etc., etc. When they started, basically had all Zerg players. But they do have a couple of new players on there as well. Of course, Elfi's been with the team for a while. They have Death Hydra as well.
Death Hydra.
And Alternate Attacks, on the other hand, is we actually had a member from Alternate Attacks tweet at us before the game, Cloud, a very, very good player for Alternate Attacks as well.
True.
And I'm really looking forward to this. This is going to be a pretty good match. The map is Darkness Falls. As I like to say on this map, used to be main to natural, was even ground, so a PvP would be a 4-gate, well, hell. I won't even call it a heaven. But now we do have a ramp going from the main to the natural, and also from the natural to the third. So it is feasible to have expand builds on this map.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen kind of a prevalence of expanding in PvP lately. It's a fast expand renaissance, if you will, in Protoss versus Protoss right now. We've seen a lot of Korean players trying it. You know, we've seen a lot of players try a 2-gate expand on a lot of different maps.
Sure.
So I'm really curious to see what we're going to see out of these two players.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and take a look now as first gas up for both players. Of course, nothing at this stage of the game would be too out of the ordinary. It's more going to be telling how much chrono boost each player saves up, how quickly they get their second gas, things like that. Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
And that being said, Elfi has actually stopped chrono boosting out his workers already, so he's going to have a ton of chrono boost saved up. Now, traditionally, I'm talking a year ago, you would have said, okay, saving up a ton of chrono boost as fast as possible, 4-gate, wants to bang it out as quick as possible. Nowadays, though, while that's still certainly possible, it's just as likely that they're saving a ton of chrono boost so they can throw down a second gate and chrono boost double stalkers out.
Yeah, that too. I mean, otherwise, a lot of players still want to get that warp gate research finished quickly, even if they are doing something like an expand. You know, say you're doing a 3-gate expand, you're still going to want that warp gate research finished as fast as possible so you can hold off whatever sort of aggression your opponent is going to be throwing at you too.
All right, let's take a look. No second gas for either player quite yet. There's the chrono boost on the Stalker heading out as well, so Elfi only saving up one additional chrono boost to throw down a warp gate research when the time comes. But, you know, Socke finally has down his second gas. We've seen a lot of gas steals lately, even in both Korean and foreign games.
Well, it's probably the best mirror matchup to do a gas steal, and it definitely has the most impact. I mean, if you think about TVT or ZVZ, gas steals don't make a bit of difference there. Not a big difference. You
sacrifice so much of your work or just get them done.
Yeah, that too, of course. Yep.
However,
so the probe did see that second gas wasn't taken. Oh, but Elfi takes it right afterwards. I can't help but think that Elfi would be Hugo Weaving's favorite player. You get that?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. I know some people got that out there. That makes me feel good.
Oh, we already have a Stalker and a Zealot on the map for Elfi, though. You know, Socke has produced quite a few Stalkers already, but I'm sorry, beginning the production of multiple Stalkers is what I meant to say. I apologize. He was waiting on 3rd gate for a pretty considerable period of time. And let's see here. Back on. Okay, a Gateway and a Robo coming up now, so just 2-gate Robo out for Elfi.
Yeah, so he's going to be trying to do, well, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. It looks like he wants to expand just kind of the way he's positioning his units here, but, you know, it remains to be seen. We don't know for sure quite yet. In fact, it looks like he's planning on going into some Blink play instead. Yeah,
2-gate Robo with Twilight Council down there. Now, a lot of players will actually just put up the 3 gateways first so they can begin their Stalker production. They kind of add on the Observer and the Blink as they have time and resources to do so. It's a little bit different way to arrive at that goal. Socke already heading out with 5 Stalkers now in a probe to start throwing down a forward pylon, and there's his own Twilight Council.
Yep, Twilight Council, so both of these guys probably going to be going for Blink here. Now, of course, Elfi is going to have his quite a bit sooner, but he will have less units to defend this little poke from Socke.
Right.
And we'll have to see how much damage Socke can do. Elfi actually is going to need to run right up that ramp. This is a very dangerous situation for him here.
Oh, there's a couple of sentries, and it looks like Socke just wanted to make sure that his opponent wasn't doing anything crazy quite yet, actually backing away. But he does have a pylon ready to warp units in on the high ground as he's putting up his own robotics facility.
Elfi should see that, though, and do something about it because his pylon obviously is in plain view. You know, he'll probably notice that as soon as he takes a gander at his mini-map.
Certainly.
And, the robotics facility for Socke is on its way now, and that'll help him, get an observer, maybe warp some things up on the high ground.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'd be kind of surprised if that pylon lasted long enough to do that.
Much higher stalker count for Socke at the moment.
Makes
Who knows?
sense.
Maybe he just wants Elfi to overproduce units or something along those lines, or units he maybe necessarily doesn't want, just get thrown off by the fact that this pylon is sitting here. Because clearly,
I think the Immortal's going to handle it.
Yeah, clearly Socke has run around. Now, he is aware of the presence of this Immortal on the map, and that's a no small thing to note.
So here's the thing. If an Immortal can point down and shoot, why can't it point up and shoot? It just can't, rotate its arms that
I know,
far.
that's
It's
ridiculous.
Really.
Here's actually something to note. Elfi started producing Blink way before Socke did. Canceled it so he would have the resources for that Immortal because he thought an attack was imminent.
Yeah.
So that pylon actually did cause the cancel there. Socke
nice.
expanding behind this and now has Blink for that multitude of stalkers that's out.
Cool. Nexus going up for Elfi as well. So he's got some time. It doesn't really matter that Blink is going to be a little bit later there. In fact, did he actually cancel that and go Dark Shrine? I think he did. Yeah, he did. Okay.
So a really late snap decision to go into DT drops.
Interesting. Okay. I wonder why he decided to do that, because he knows his opponent has a Robo Bay by now.
Yeah, let's
I'm
see
thinking
Blink
maybe
is
he
done.
thinks he can snipe the Observer. Well, his just got sniped. He's like, yeah, I should do that to his Observer.
Yeah, that's a really smart idea. So, Elfi, where's that Dark Shrine? Right in the middle. Coming up, but let's see. That Observer there it is. For Socke should be making its way out. Elfi's is not going to be anywhere close, so.
Oh, no. Is he going to see that Warp Prism? Barely gets a glimpse of it. I think he did catch a glimpse of it, yeah.
Yeah, I think he knows as well. He's got a few units heading out to the middle of the map on his intercept course.
Uh-oh.
Oh, this is really bad for Elfi.
Oh, that's bad.
Bye-bye.
That thing's not getting away. No.
Boom.
Ouch.
Headshot.
Elfi. I don't know, Elfi, man. I don't think
Dark
your
Shrine.
DTs are going to do a whole lot. The Observer is out. Elfi does have his own Observer out, so if he can snipe the one from Socke, maybe that can work out okay. But dangerous situation for our Red Frost player. Oh, no, a Blink into the main.
Yeah, this is no good, especially if that Robo gets picked off right now. Socke will be able to blink away. No problem
Socke's
at all.
got to be careful not to overcommit, though, with this. He's got to be really careful.
Definitely. He had a nice little engagement right there where he was able to actually take advantage of positioning to knock out a couple of Elfi's units initially, and does blink away the vast majority of it. Has actually lost 2 Stalkers while up there.
Yeah, 3 more of those Stalkers for Socke have taken a lot of damage there, too. So he did take some. I don't know if it was worth it to blink in right there. I'm not convinced. He didn't kill the Robo. All he did was kill 1 pylon.
All right, well, here we go. Here comes Elfi's Warp Prism now. We're going to see some DTs drop down here in a second.
Yep, that's right. There they are. Dark Templar.
We already do have an Observer.
Yeah, that's not going to do a whole lot. Kind of what we expected. Wow, one actually gets away and gets into the main, so he may be able to kill a couple SCVs, a couple probes before the Observer catches up. You can tell I have nightmares about Dark Templar. Terran versus
You're
Protoss
killing
play.
the SCVs.
Don't kill my SCVs, please.
Yeah, very high DPS unit as well, so did a considerable amount of damage. Just 2 swings to a pylon. Boom, there it goes.
Yep.
And
So that didn't do a whole lot.
Nope, not really.
Yeah.
Oh, another DT actually inside of the natural now, though.
Now, he did
6
cause him to
kills.
lose some mining time, I suppose.
Yeah, killed 11 workers.
Yep, Elfi going into the Colossus production right now, but he's doing kind of a lot of different things here, while Socke is basically just kind of making a big army, just sticking on Immortal and Stalker.
Sure.
He is making his own robotics bay now, but just in terms of army size, I think Socke is going to be in pretty decent shape right now.
Well, let's see. We've got 1 Mortal apiece, but the real difference is in the Stalkers at the moment.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
Elfi has an advantage in Zealots, but when you have Blink Stalkers in play, I mean, a 9 Stalker difference is, I don't want to say it's insurmountable, but
It's a big difference.
It is, yeah.
Makes a big difference. Oh, double Robo for Elfi. Okay, so he's really going to just try to out-Colossus his opponent, which might not be a bad idea, actually. I mean, he's in a position where he can't really be aggressive, but if he stays defensive, makes you know, 4 or 6 Colossus, something like that, I mean, it's going to be pretty tough for Socke to stop something like that.
Right. Of course, this is going to come at the cost of Elfi's entire support army. He's,
Yes.
you know, he's warping in 1 Zealot right now, and that's basically the extent of what he's going to be able to do while
It's a
double
risk.
producing Colossi. Yeah.
It's a risk, but he does have to take a risk at some point
Agreed.
in this game. Yeah.
And he has the ability to produce the second one at the moment. Not sure what he's waiting on.
I don't know.
All right. Well, here
Well,
comes
fun time
Socke
blink.
now.
It's trying to catch that Observer, I think, possibly. No, that's a DT. He wants to catch that instead, and he does.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Yep.
There we go. 2 Colossi now coming out for Elfi.
You ever notice how sometimes the DTs like just fall over and die, and sometimes they turn into little spirit things? What's
Turn
the deal
into
with
little
that?
puffs and are immediately transplanted into the body of a stalker.
Yeah, I know. Maybe the ones that that don't turn into little like puff, like spirit puff things, the ones that just kind of fall over and go, they cut the heads off of those and make them into stalkers.
And people say you can't heal Protoss units; they just become stalkers.
That's
What are you
right.
complaining about?
Different sort of healing, I guess.
All right.
Another Robo going up for Socke as well. Did he catch a glimpse of that second Robo? I've got
Let's
a feeling
take
he
a look.
probably did. Maybe.
No.
No, he hasn't seen it. Okay, so just kind of going double
Interesting.
Robo all on his own. He is going to be behind in Colossus count, though. Elfi does have a bit of a lead there.
You know, but if you, well, obviously Colossus count is a big deal. With the advantage in +1 weapons and a superior number of Blink Stalkers, he should be able to close and neutralize that
does
number
help.
pretty quickly.
Yeah, the +1 weapons will make a pretty big difference when it's all said and done, too. And now he will see everything. He's like, all right, well, I'm going to be a little bit behind in Colossus
Sure.
production. But like you said, I'm going to have that +1 weapon, so that's going to help a bit as well.
Yeah. Let's take a look here. 49 probes to 54 at the moment. Photon cannon at the front to prevent any sort of
I like it.
DT run-bys, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think that's a good idea. Socke definitely showing good kind of presence of mind to be prepared for a lot of different things here. It's a
Sure.
pretty cheap investment to keep DTs from coming in and doing a lot of damage.
All right, well, 2 Colossi to 4 at the moment, but Sokke's just about to finish another one. And, more importantly, there goes +1 weapons.
Yep, that's right. But this is still a really strong push from Elfi. I'll have to see how Socke defends this.
All right, well, here we go. He was about to make a pylon directly on top of the photon cannon. That will not work.
Yep.
And here we go. 4 Colossi to 2, but there's the +1 weapons for Socke. We're going to see if that's going to be enough. He finally has a 3rd Colossus join, but that's as the 5th one pops up now for Elfi. There's the Blink Stalkers to the side. One Stalker's
Nice
going to
micro.
fall. No, gets away. There it goes.
Socke was really
Wow.
zealot heavy, and I think that actually ended up helping him. I was a little bit worried after those forest fields, but he was able to kind of power through a lot of those stalkers. If you notice, a lot of Elfi's Colossi were firing on the zealots of Socke, while a lot of Socke's Colossi were firing on the stalkers and Colossi of Elfi, so that kind of helped him trade pretty much evenly, and that's kind of where we're at right now. Pretty even supply. Neither player really having a distinct advantage at this point.
You know, though I will say, yes, the supply advantage is even right now, but critically, Socke kept more of his Colossi alive. It's easier to replace that ground army than it is to replace the Colossi numbers.
That is true. Yeah. And another Warp Prism being made by Elfi, so he's not quite done with his Warp Prism harass yet. I kind of like that. Oh, that pylon's not going to live.
Bye-bye.
Oh, well.
All right, so now Colossi with +1 weapons. Elfi backing up at the moment. I think if they engage right now, Elfi would be able to draw even or get close again. But as soon as Socke buffers his Colossi numbers with even just one more warpin of ground units, and there they are, I think he has a distinct and very large advantage.
Cannon is there, so it's not going to be...
Oh, no.
He does lose the Warp Prism. Couple Zealots pop out, but they are going to be pretty short-lived.
And that is a big deal right there. Looks like a few DTs in the mix now. Good for their DPS, even if they're detected. Unless they're targeted down, they can wreak quite a bit of havoc. Or just turn into Archons and make themselves just that much better.
Yeah, I kind of like the Archon thing, just kind of break down force fields, tank some damage. There's the attack. Looks like Socke has a slight Colossus advantage, but we'll see how long he can hold it.
Yeah,
oh, man, Socke is actually perfectly fine here.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
I didn't realize he had 6 of those. GG.
Team Kyunggi-shan Dojian.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here we go. It is time for game number 2 between Alternate Attacks and Team Acer. In the bottom right-hand corner of Calm Before the Storm, we have from Team aTn, Socke. He is our yellow Protoss player. And his opponent in the bottom left-hand corner, he is our red Zerg, Nerchio, an incredibly good Zerg player. And actually going to be, well, speaking of Nurchio, and we were, he is actually going to be Mana's next opponent in Fight Club for this Saturday.
Yeah,
So
that's right. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, Mana versus Nurchio with $500 on the line.
Yeah, Mana taking out Slayer's Ganji. Pretty good move there. I mean, it's a tough opponent going up against a Code S Terran player, but he did it. He beat him. And I believe that went all the way to Game 9, didn't it?
Yeah, it was
right?
really ridiculous.
It was a great series.
The Mana jumped out 3-0, and then Ganji came right back with 4 games in a row to put him on the brink, and then Mana won the last 2 games, I believe is the way it ended up.
Very impressive series, yeah.
Got pretty ridiculous, pretty close there.
Yep. So here we are on Calm Before the Storm with this Protoss versus Zerg matchup. Socke looks like he's going to either be doing a Nexus first or a Forge Expand, one of the two. And it looks like it's going to be a hatch for some Nurchio. It's interesting. We've been seeing a lot more hatchery first builds from Zerg players. And, you know, there was a time not too long ago where Zergs would have been absolutely terrified. Oh, he's not going hatch first. Never mind, it's going to be pool first. We are still in a time currently where Zergs are terrified to go up against hatch first against Protoss. It's a little bit risky, but we still, what I was going to say is we see more Zerg players doing it.
Well, you see
than
more.
We have before.
I try to do this thing where I don't interrupt you. What I'm trying to do is like anticipate the end of the sentence so you don't have that weird delay when you're broadcasting. It's a technique you learn when you broadcast.
Sure.
So trying to like jump in there at the perfect time, and that sentence went 3 words longer than I had anticipated. So don't know you quite well enough.
It's not.
Mr. Longquist. Anyway.
Well, just talk about Star Wars more. That'll work.
Anyway, but the point I was going to make was that you have more players nowadays of the Protoss and Terran variety that are going, as we see here, command structure first, or just very, very fast expansions. The maps are larger than ever as well. It's a lot safer for Zerg players to not worry about hatchery blocks or, you know, anything impeding their progress, especially on this map, where it's just as fine for Zerg players to go after this base outside of the main as well as it is for the one that's inside.
Double Evo chamber trick just to get out a queen. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that was
I like that.
interesting.
That's a neat little technique that Nurchio just showed us there. Get that extra 2 supply to start that queen.
And does get it out nice and early, man. You do finish up that queen and get the other one in perfect time to... Wow, I mean, pretty much all the timings of this kind of work out pretty well, especially with those earlier 4 links that are making their way across, and Socke's forced to full wall this with a pylon.
Yeah, I guess we are not going to see a Forge Expand. It's going to be instead a Gateway and Forge Expand, which is kind of interesting. Uh-oh, we had to cancel the pylon, though. Some Zerglings getting in. They're not going to do a lot of damage, but they are going to see absolutely everything that Socke has right now.
Pulled some units off the line, forced the pylon to be built, an additional 25 resources to be canceled. So, wow, killing a probe is just added bonus. I mean, killing a probe, forcing the 25 minerals off. Socke's not started mining fully on gas once again. He has done more than that cost in damage in Zerglings.
Icing on the creepy cake. That's what that is. Because, I mean, it's Zerg. They got to have kind of a creepy cake. It's not going to be like a normal, you know, Black Forest chocolate cake or something like that. I don't know.
Black Forest chocolate cake.
That'd be good, man. I like the dark chocolate.
That's a Homer, like, going on here. Anyway,
kind of sound like an Overlord, too, there.
Let's see here. That was a terrible Overlord impression. Anyway.
It's like if there was a Muppet Overlord, maybe that's what it sounded like.
That's like a combination of the Swedish Chef and an Overlord.
After he becomes infested, I guess. Yeah.
I'm imagining an Overlord with a Swedish Chef hat. So we have third hatchery coming out now for Nurchio. He had actually not started gas yet. Now double gassing. Now he's going to have to go up against and expand into Stargate builds out of Socke.
Yep. Yes, indeed, it will be a Stargate. But I'm a little bit concerned whether or not Socke will actually really be able to do any damage with this. I think Nurchio is going to be pretty well prepared. We'll have to see. I don't know. It's a situation where Nurchio, you know, I think he has enough queens here that if Socke goes for the typical like 1 Void Ray and a couple Phoenixes, he should be okay. Oh, I like that though. Just sending in a Zealot just to kind of be annoying. Couple Zealots there. He's going to cause a cancel on that Spine Crawler.
Ooh,
no, he doesn't cancel it. This is such a great little move by Socke. He's basically shutting down an entire base, doing some damage. Very nice little move.
Here's another cute little benefit of this. Yes, he's going to kill a couple of units. Yes, he's eventually going to get driven off, but he just forced 18 lings out of Nurchio, and that's resources that should have been used to put up an evolution chamber, a few more drones, and possibly another queen to add in the defense as well, and
Well,
all of a sudden, this anti-air defense is not going to be as great, and a queen may go down. No, gets away with 19 points of health.
And it looks like it also distracted him enough that Nurchio is now pretty badly supply blocked, just starting an Overlord right now. So that's going to be that's going to mean that those queens are not out in time to really handle this Void Ray if he sends it right away. So yeah, the combination of the little poke plus the Void Ray might end up doing some damage, and a second Stargate being added. He is really going to go all the way with this Stargate tech, it looks like.
Okay, well, we'll find out, wow, how much of this he is actually going to do. He has a Forge up, so he could do something akin to that Void Ray Zealot attack, but of course with the second Stargate out there and a Robo now, this is something much different altogether.
Yeah, it's a lot of Zerglings. He might just be able to brute force his way in there. Is he going to use a force field? Nope, the Void Ray pops out just in time to push those back.
And once again, Nurchio is actually supply blocked. Okay, finishes up an Overlord right away so he can actually start. He did start an Evolution Chamber, but he can start another Queen here.
Yeah, he just started it right now. He had no idea that there was Stargate tech coming until he saw that Void Ray. And I don't know if he has quite enough to hold this off. I mean, he's got, well, at least hold it off and not take a lot of damage. We'll
right,
have to
I understand.
See. Because, I don't know. I mean, there's one Void Ray there, another one being made at the moment.
And it looks like this Queen is going to fall very quickly. Are there any coming in to reinforce? Yes, there's one. Yep. This Void Ray is going to have to back away here in just a bit.
Yeah, he's going to want to pull that back. Second Void Ray coming in right now.
Yeah.
He really should pull that Void Ray back. There's no reason to let it take so much damage.
And it looks like this hurt one is actually going to die.
Seriously?
Bye-bye.
Oh, that was just bad.
All right.
Yeah, you killed the Queen, but
he's killed 2 queens so far. May get a third here in a second, but this 4-crawler is going to pick up in just a couple of seconds. And
yeah,
there it goes.
He killed 2 queens, but how bad is that really for Nurchio? I mean, here comes another Void Ray. So yeah, Socke obviously with 2 Stargates is going to really put a lot into this.
Yes.
Spire is on the way too. Interesting that the Spire will be going up a little bit after the Phoenix count is getting up. That's going to make it tough for Nurchio to produce enough mutas to kind of handle this. He's going to have to make some Corruptors as well.
It is, but you know what? Socke is investing in so much tech and just stuff off of 2 bases right now. Look at this Templar tech being added in as well, along with War Prism. So, I mean, the fact that he's sitting on so many air units and so little ground forces, plus the fact that Nurchio is moving to his 4th base at the same time, this all adds up to Nurchio probably being able to pull this off, honestly.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's probably going to be a lot of game left here. It's not going to be over.
Oh, sure,
of course,
for a
while yet. But I don't know. I really think that Socke could have gotten by without letting that Void Ray die. You know, he should really have 3 Void Rays at this point. That would make a pretty big difference. You know, because he has 2 Stargates, he's putting a lot into this air tech. He might still be able to do a decent amount. 4 queens, though, for Nurchio. None of them getting lifted, and the Spore Crawlers. I don't know, man. I mean, those Phoenixes are taking some damage. He does deny the gas, but can Socke really do a lot of significant damage with this?
And that Warp Prism could actually go down very quickly. There, a couple of queens do get picked off. The Warp Prism's going to need to drop down. Hopefully, you can start doing a little bit of damage to the Spore Crawlers, but now we have Corruptors involved as well, and Corruptors make things, this a different game altogether. Yes, he's going to kill that front line there, but as Corruptors start to flood in, they become very, very cost-effective against the Air Force that Socke has out.
Charged Void Rays do pretty well against Corruptors. He did kill 2 of them right there, but now it is done. And yeah, Socke is still sticking with Stargate tech, getting Storm as well. Nice, force field there.
Yeah, definitely. Has quite a bit of energy left as well. So these Zealots actually could get a pretty good engagement or just take out the drones, which is what I assumed was going to happen. He was going to try and trap a couple of drones in there.
I don't really know what he was doing. I mean, he could have been attacking hatchery during that period of time too. And at this point, I don't think this is going to really do a whole ton of damage unless he's planning on warping in some more units here.
Right. No, I don't either. And the fact that the Warp Prism's gone now means those sentries are going to die. We do have those Corruptors making their way out and starting to pick off the Phoenixes. They're actually getting pretty low in health. A bunch of Templar up now, so we are going to see an Archon switch. Storm is on the way in addition.
Yep, that's right. But just creating a couple Archons to stay safe. I mean, Socke knows he's going to kind of have to stay on the defensive now. I like that he's decided to just send his Phoenixes kind of scouting around the map, looking for more bases. It's definitely what you want to do in a situation like this. But those Corruptors are really, really going to be able to bully those Phoenixes around the map. And I don't know, is he going to get a cancel on this third? It looks like he might.
All right, we'll see if that Nexus is going to go down here in just a second. The Archons actually can't make their way out. I think there was too small of a space.
Yeah, they're stuck.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
That is so bad for Socke right now. He's trying to run back to his existing Archons, and that's actually going to work out pretty well for him. He'll lose the one up at the front. These other two, though, have done quite a bit of splash damage to the units on the ground. He needs to go after, well, yep, he was researching weapons upgrades, so he needs to go after the gateway, unfortunately.
Yeah, Socke is way behind now. His third had to be canceled. He's not going to be able to take it again for a little while. He's still got these Phoenixes, but they're not in a position to do any sort of huge lasting damage. I mean, yeah, he kills a couple drones here and there, but Nerchio's going to just be able to keep remaking those pretty quickly.
And let's see here. Here comes another Warp Prism. And
right.
looks like Nerchio's already on top of that. No problem.
Yep. And he's actually going to warp in. Okay, yeah, I was going to say that's not really the right decision. Loses the Warp Prism. Socke just falling apart right now.
Yeah, this is not looking good for him. He's down by 60 supply. Looked very, very good in game number 1 in that PvP, but this game not working out quite so well. Of course, he's been on 2 bases the entire time, this whole 15 minutes. As you can see, minerals are starting to get low everywhere, too, so he's going to be starved. Even if he holds off a couple waves of attacks out of Nerchio, he's just going to be starved out of this game very quickly.
Yeah, this attack I don't think is going to do terribly well for Nerchio. He can kill these units, but he's going to lose quite a bit. But he's definitely got a lot of reinforcements coming, so he could still continue to push. That's a lot of cannons warping in right now, though, for Socke. If those finish, Nerchio's definitely going to need to turn around.
All right, here come the Archons now, just trying to buy a little bit of time. Of course, Archons dealing splash damage are actually very, very good against roaches. There we go. There's a storm that hits, and now all the cannons are warping in. Actually, every cannon surviving so far. That one is down to 6 hit points.
Wow.
Now finally dying, but the first run of units was killed.
That's a lot of roaches, too, coming in for Nerchio. And he might be able to power through this, but yeah, it's just not quite enough. He is going to have to pull back, losing a lot of Corruptors there as well. And, you know, there's really no reason for Nerchio to push this really, really hard until he has a bigger army. He can kind of take a little bit of time and max out. He's almost at 200 supply, so I think when he is, he's going to be kind of able to go and roll over Socke.
And we do have Greater Spire being thrown in now, so he'll move into Broodlords in just a bit. That was a lot of Photon Cannons. Here come the Zerglings rushing in. Archon taking quite a bit of damage up at the top. Now finally a little bit of a chink in the armor is exposed as a couple of Roaches are getting over to the top. There's our Infested Terrans I was looking for. And, yep, looks like Socke is being pushed back at the moment, now down 70 supply.
That's going to be about it. There's not a whole lot Socke can do to stay in this game. He's still got some Phoenixes around, but they're going to be chased by the Corruptors. He can't get too close to the Infestors, or he's going to get fungal growth.
Right. Yep. And, poor Socke, unfortunately, this Immortal sitting on the high ground, trying to do so much. 6 kills, but it's going to die. There it goes. Phoenix is trying to do whatever they can to keep Socke in the game, but he's so far back now, and it's not like he's putting on any pressure at any of the other bases for Nerchio.
Yeah, absolutely. The probes are still mining, though, for Socke. Not a lot of economic damage done quite yet for this. He hasn't quite gotten behind the mineral line as such. And, you know, Nerchio knows that he might not be able to end the game with this push, too. If you look at the production queue, you know, he's doing Greater Spire, he's making more stuff. He's not kind of all in with this quite yet.
No. But Socke just doesn't really have anything on the ground right now. Finally, Immortal on the high ground. That's going to secure the ramp for him for a couple of seconds. Maybe that'll be enough for the Photon Cannons to come up. I think that's what he's waiting on right now, but they're still just, oh my god. Yep, Immortal falls, there it goes.
It's not quite complexity RSVP levels of cannons or expansions, but it's a good amount. But in this case, not quite enough. Socke kind of fighting an uphill battle, and I think he's just going to kind of roll right back down again. Yeah,
it looks like Acer's going to take a game here, though, so it is going to be 1-to-1 all tied up as, Nerchio is expanding all over the place right now. He's up by 140 supply. Socke just not really able to produce anything else. GG has been called, and Nerchio has taken a game, so we're 1-to-1.